Alright, hello. Time for the third and final video in my series of May 2024 pickup and unboxing videos. And as you can see, whoa, look at all this shit. This is why I had to do Cloud Strife and Scarlet from G.I. Joe separately, because I just got so much stuff here. But a little counterintuitive, but let's start with the stuff I won't be unboxing and some non-figure stuff. Yeah, I picked up a couple games in May. First being RoboCop for the NES. This is actually a conversion of that arcade game. There's a lot more versions of this, especially in the UK, Europe, all the ports for all the computers like Amiga, Atari ST, ZX, all stuff like that dumbass Americans like me never even really knew about growing up on this side of the pond. So yeah, I got the NES version. It's not that good, but it's also not that expensive, so to just add it to the collection, yes, I'm gonna say it, I bought this for $1. Moving on, I also got this, Batman Arkham Asylum. I've never tried these games before. Why did I wait so long? Well, I figured, okay, before I move on to these Batman games, I gotta finish this one. Which, growing up, this is pretty much the example of a non-crappy movie game for the NES. Sure, you had good cartoon ones like Bucky O'Hare and Rescue Rangers and stuff, but this also stood out, but damn was it tough. Well, took some save state abuse, but I've tackled this finally, so yeah, eventually I'll get to this when I'm in the mood for some batty fun. I got this on the shelf to just grab. Speaking of Batman, I will not be opening this. This I got on sale for just $6. Just added it to the pile of loot to the thing that had the super expensive Cloud Strife figure. I really don't collect 7-inch DC, but I remember seeing this version in comparisons for 5 Points of Articulations videos. It's got some really great stuff. You ought to check it out. And I figured if I ever do get into the 7-inch lines, I'll have this Joker on hand because it's a great head sculpt. It's actually better than the DC Multiverse ones. We do have a DC Multiverse one, but it's Swamp Thing is such a big chongish that his size isn't gonna matter. I also found this on discount in a Walmart, the IDW version of Shredder, one of the nastiest versions of Shredder's areas. I'm not an expert on the IDW comics. I did read them up to a point. I really like, but I haven't really been collecting these. Oh, don't get me wrong. The 4 Turtles, and now they're coming out with Alopex, those are great figures, but where am I going to put them? I got the OG Playmates 2003 Turtles on my computer desks, and I barely have room for the 2012 Playmates Turtles on my shelf to represent the franchise as a whole. So many great figures, so little space. So what it comes down to, what we're going to be opening up, is this reissue of Deadpool, Swamp Thing, and this old movie version of Invisible Woman. Why? 1, why not? And 2, well, I'll explain it later, but first, let's get this guy open. Hold on a minute. Okay, that wasn't so hard. Possibly one of the easiest Marvel Legends box setups to open. So yeah, here he is, sniffing from his Desert Eagles, like the arms equivalent of sniffing your own farts. And that was the big deal with this one. Unlike the last one, which had those fakey guns and the Desert Eagles glued into the holsters, this one has them removable. And I've already swapped out the open hands he's preloaded with his gun-holding hands. This is how I like Deadpool after seeing the movies. 2 katanas, 2 Desert Eagles, too eager to get to the killing bad guys. Okay, well now let's go over articulation. He can look up a good deal. Buries the chin okay. He's got butterfly joints. You get a lot of range of movement there. Good movement in the shoulders. Bicep swivel. Pinless double jointed elbows. Not so much pinless down there, but we'll get to that. Very good ab crunch. Got a waist cut that's hidden by his belt because it's a nice floating piece. thigh cuts aren't quite as well hidden, but, well, I guess you do have the holsters there. And, let's see, am I going to have to heat this up? No, they're not pinless, but they get the job done. Got ankle, pivot, move up and down. Do we get a boot cut anywhere? No, but, oh well, can't have everything. So yeah, funny story about this one. Ever since seeing the movie, I knew I wanted like a live-action likeness on my shelf because it's so close to the comics that you can pass it off. I've got the head with a lot of ones like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, the original Professor X with the plastic wheelchair, figures like that. But unfortunately, I was thinking, no, Disney's not going to allow Fox's stuff to be made. But then when they realized that, oh, we're getting the rights back, we can license these characters out now, we can do these versions. So this came out, this was announced only a week or so after I ordered this one, the 80th anniversary retro-carded one. And I was like, ugh, really? But then they released him in a 2-pack with Sonic Teenage Warhead, and they had the issue with not having the real guns removable. So for a long time I was glad I stuck with this, and this is still a very good figure. I mean, they're even reissuing him again. I mean, he looks just like he did in New Mutants 98, right? He's got an even more detailed pistol right there. He's got all the articulation this one has pretty much, plus a boot cut. And still has the butterfly joints. I mean, this is still an all-around good comic figure, and this is probably what I'm going to still have on my shelf, riding piggyback on my old Toy Biz Colossus. But this one's going to go on my computer desk, where I'm going to swap out like alternate versions of characters with live-action versions of characters. And now this will be that go-to Deadpool, so I can just have him on the computer desk and just mess with them any time. And speaking of live-action ones, I'm sure you haven't forgotten. Yeah, I had the other version of Jessica Alba, but I gave it away after I upgraded to finally getting the comic-accurate Walmart version. But now, since I want one again, I decided to splurge and get the other version that has a better likeness. Unfortunately, once again, it's a bittersweet moment to have to open a old school toy that should stay in the packaging. And say what you will about the movie, but they did put marketing muscle behind it, and it's got really good packaging. I mean, look at this. You got the foursome up there, you got Fantastic Four, you got this stuff on the back, showing you what you can get. Bittersweet moment, but here we go. Oops, knocked down the unicorn. Alright. Oh yeah, and you get this weird water splashing effect that I'm not going to take the time to cut away and set up. Maybe another time. But yeah, this is a very good light. Okay. Oh. She can look down quite a bit, and she can look up a bit, not too hampered by the hair. Thanks, it's nice and pliable. And ew, I didn't notice it's going to have that. Ugh. Oh well, she's mostly going to be facing forward, so that's not going to be that big an issue. And I like the effect where, as it's going up, it's fading into the visible while it's translucent on this for limbs. But she doesn't she doesn't even have swivel hinge elbows. And I remember the other version that I gave away shared a body with a Toy Biz Kitty Pryde, right down to the toticulation and floppy ankles. Obviously, we're not getting any of that here, but anyway, I don't really need that. This is just to have the best likeness possible for Jessica Alba to represent Fantastic Four in live action. And I doubt Hasbro's ever going to revisit that. I'd like them to. I'd like to see a 5-pack of the original movie Fantastic Four along with that version of Doctor Doom, which still looks really good. Probably the best live-action interpretation of Doctor Doom we've got, and then again with the 2015 one, there's no competition. But alas, all that we have left now is this big old chongus swamp thing, so let's get cracking on that. Alright, we got him out of the package. It's an absolute unit of a figure. We got Swamp Thing in the house. Now, I admit, I'm not too familiar with this character. I didn't even see the original 1982 movie beginning to end until I saw it free on I think it was Tubi, a month or two ago. The 82 one by Wes Craven. I didn't even know that. And yeah, I was itching for some cheesy 80s movie to take me back with its over-the-top action and antics, and that certainly delivered and helped me introduce me to the character. But as for this figure, it only seems to be able to turn the head side to side. He can look down a little. Now, he's got the typical McFarlane rotator cuff. Because the only other McFarlane DC figures I have are Gorilla Grodd and Martian Manhunter, which I could fudge into my 6-inch displays. Kinda interested in Kilowog and just still waiting for the Parallax entity. Come on, Tide. Anyway, single-jointed elbows. We got them on ball hinges. Kind of sticks out there, but whatever. Okay, has a little thigh twist. He's got a diaphragm cut. He can't really look down all that much. And one thing about McFarlane that you gotta absolutely adore, the sculpting work is typically exquisite. All the foliage in here. Could use a bit more wash to bring out the details in certain places, but damn! This guy was worth it just for the sculpt alone. I'm glad. Just like the MK11 Joker. This was on sale and I decided to throw it in with bringing home that Cloud Strife from Bring Arts. And when we keep going down, we got pins in the knees as usual, but double jointed, very good bend. Got quite a bit of movement in the ankles and even a little toe articulation. So yeah, I got this for 35-40% off, but even at full price I'd say it'd be worth it. Even though I'm not very familiar with this character, I am aware of him. I've been reading DC Comics for years, getting stuff from my big five: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Flash, and he does pop up, especially in Superman. It seemed to cross paths with the Man of Steel the most. So I am aware of his presence, and I did watch movies for the story of Injustice 2, where he pops up also. So yeah, well aware of his place in the DC universe, and it's nice, again, just worth it for the sculpt alone, to add him to my Justice League display, mix him in with my 6-inch scale DC stuff, because again, he's such a big old chongus. I mean, he can be as big as he wants, so just like getting the Marvel Selects for Apocalypse, Juggernaut, Hulk, what have you, it works just fine. And to wrap things up, we got Swamp Thing chilling in the back right there. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I meant about rotating out the display on my computer desk. Here's the live-action versions of characters from the Big Five I have for Marvel: X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and Hulk. Live-action versions. I've shown this one off before, and this is the very first 6-inch Iron Man figure I ever got, the Model 43 from Age of Ultron. There's so many other versions of this now, from 3-0, ZD Toys, what have you, but this is still a good, reliable one. Just not that big and bulky, but still nice and solid. Still looks good, even for just a $20 figure. And I did find an opener for the new Hasbro Raimiverse Spider-Man, though I gotta confess I am disappointed. It's even shorter than the Toy Biz one I had previously, and not as posable. Not having toe articulation, but what are you gonna do? I got him open now. He's nice and bright and colorful, and he's gonna look good on my computer desk. With better likeness for Jessica Alba than the last one I had for Invisible Woman, and a sweet-looking live-action Deadpool. There's other good live-action versions of movie X-Men characters. I could get, the Beast one all the way back. That still holds up. But Deadpool, I must confess, is my favorite of the old Fox X-Men movies. with Logan being number 2 and Days of Future Past being number 3. So I'm gonna like having this Deadpool to show off. In fact, let's get him in front of the camera again. Oh yeah, all the details like the little notches from battle damage here, just some scrapes and cuts in the suit. Yeah, very, very happy with this.